Let's begin our time at the Magic Kingdom, not at the gates of the park, but in the parking lot. You will see that there are a set of flags as you proceed toward the TTC area, and the center one is a flag of Mickey Mouse, and this is a very retro flag that's been flying for years. They keep putting up new versions of it, but it still has the same style, a very 1970s style from that era. And then you go a little forward, and you see a what has been a laser cut steel version of Mickey Mouse, very similar to ones you see at the Contemporary Resort. This was kind of a phenomenon during the 1960s, and it's just kind of kept going on, as we will, as we move to the TTC. Let's board the express monorail to the Magic Kingdom, and we pass by a lot of construction going on at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. You'll see that there is a new bus drop area that is being put in, make it a little easier for buses to do the turnaround. They're going to use that previous entrance to the Polynesian, whereas a new entrance is now being put in right toward the front of the resort itself, so that you are literally driving right into the porte cochere area. The monorail now takes a veer and comes aligned with Floridian Way, which has been under construction in some variation or another since actually about 2013, when the new Fantasyland started. It's a whole north south connector that takes residents up along Reams Road and then pass on down to that area, and bypasses a lot of the northern area where the Disney University is and so forth. There's just been a lot of construction, and actually, it was announced recently that delays in that construction means that the whole of it won't be completed until about 2027. I commented a little bit about this when I did my operational review of Disney's Grand Floridian Resort a few weeks ago, in which we talked about the challenges of parking and challenges of how everything kind of comes together in this area. That road is going to be on the other side of the service buildings that support Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. And ultimately, what it's going to do, and it's also part of why there is now a whole pedestrian walkway all the way from Grand Floridian to the Magic Kingdom, is that once this is all done, this is going to open up space for Disney to potentially put in a new resort hotel pretty much in the area that you're now seeing outside the monorail window. In other words, this resort is actually going to be closer for pedestrians than not just Disney's Grand Floridian, but also actually Disney's Contemporary Resort. It's going to be very proximate. And you'll see in the windows of the monorail, you'll see that there has been a lot of construction support and new areas brought in as part of the development of the Frontierland area, as they put in the new Cars and Villains Land area. So there's a lot going on in this whole space that continues to be worked on. At this point, though, we are coming toward the end and arriving at the Magic Kingdom. So let's step off the monorail and take a walk inside. It's really a beautiful day at the Magic Kingdom. Weather is just really lovely. And as we come here, we see there are a lot of guests moving to and from. This is really kind of later in the afternoon on a Saturday at the Magic Kingdom. And as we head in, we'll see that the train is moving backwards from Main Street to past Tomorrowland and into Storybook Circus. They have a new narrative developed for the train ride that involves Stitch. Kind of wacky, kind of crazy. We're going to step away from the train and head down Main Street. And as we pass by these colorful balloons, look down Main Street. What are you beginning to see? Perhaps we need to get a little closer to appreciate the changes. Here on the bridge to Liberty Square, we see that the moat has been drained. And that's usually done when there is construction work being done on Cinderella Castle. And as we take a look at the castle, you'll see that it is well underway in terms of the repainting of the castle from the kind of pinkish hues that were part of the 50th anniversary back to more of an original color. You see the grays in the lower portion of the castle, but the upper portion, even with the sun hitting it directly from the west, it looks white in view, but in truth, it's actually kind of a chalk white. It's a little offset. Again, you can't have a stark white because it would be too bright on that castle. But it seems to be working very well. Moving into Liberty Square, you see that there are long walls that guard all along the former rivers of America as you move through this area. I really have tried to find a couple of ways in which we can capture what is going on construction wise with Piston Peak just on the other side of the wall. Not exactly an easy task. If you go into Harbor House up to the second floor, there are a few windows that are open, but unfortunately, even with the glare of the western sun, and even from the angle you're at, it's really hard to see too much going on inside or beyond the construction walls. Largely, what you see is that a lot of materials have been assembled. There has been not that much leveling compared to what was the island and what was the riverbed. There is still a distinction between the two, and it looks like they're preparing to start laying some foundation. I would say probably somewhere over the summer months, we're going to start seeing some things become vertical in this area of the park. Another view you could take is from the landing of the Diamond Horseshoe. You could look out and see that the Haunted Mansion has a very large scrim that has been put in front of it while it goes through an entire remodeling or upgrade on its exterior. And then over on the side, you can see Big Thunder Mountain. You see that there's really not a lot of distance between the Haunted Mansion and Big Thunder Mountain when you take away the island in the middle. But it is clearly still very much under construction. Here we are. This is the last days of Big Al's, the little kiosk that was in front of Country Bear Jamboree. That is being removed shortly. And that's kind of the end of the era, selling a lot of coonskin caps. In the former day, used to sell toy guns, but that long went away. Actually, right now, there is a set of Lincoln Log kinds of Disney toys attached to Big Thunder Mountain. Very cool. You will want to check those out, and you can do so in the other gift shops. But this gift shop is going away, as well as when you head over to Westward Ho Refreshments, there were an opportunity to get popcorn and churros and drinks, and both of those little tiny smaller kiosks are going away as part of the whole construction moving forward. Then we head around the corner and on to Big Thunder Mountain. And this thing is surprising to me because I thought they would want to have this mountain open in time for the closing of Rock and Roller Coaster over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. But that has closed over there, and this is still finishing construction and probably is not going to open until around late May, early June when they do the press event. Love this poster art on the fencing. Lots of references, one to the Apple Dumpling Gang, one to the Hoop-de-Doo Review, one to Slewfoot Sue of the Diamond Horseshoe, and even another to Dr. Terminus. There's better trivia here than you're going to find in a Disney cruise ship trivia session. So actually check out the poster art whenever you're in the parks. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn over to Storybook Circus and check out things on that end of the park, as there has been a lot of construction there. Of course, we've spoken about these tents in some previous podcasts when, they date back to the original Mickey's Birthday Land. They've been redraped a couple of times, but this is the first time they've been redraped since the new Fantasyland and the conversion over to Storybook Circus has occurred. And you can even see one of these tents without the canvas on it, just with the frame. So I'm sure they're going to look a lot better when they are done. It's good to have a little improvement here. Now we're going to head over to Dumbo's Flying Elephants. Our grandchildren wanted to play in the playground area of Dumbo's. And let me tell you, that is a lot more painful than I thought it to be. There's no direct entrance into the playground. You really have to just be in the standby line until it weaves and weaves and weaves and finally gets to the entrance of the playground. And then you are free to then enjoy it. And I have to say, this is a wonderful little playground that they created. And I thought when my grandchildren talked about going to the playground, is it open? I thought they were talking about the Casey Jr. Water play area outside. But in truth, they were talking about this playground. And it is really, truly a delightful place. By the way, what they do allow you to do is to exit without having to go back into that standby line. There is just a regular fire exit, and it goes out to the same area that you exit when you get off of Goofy's Barnstormer. We are back on Main Street in the Emporium. Over the last year or so, there was a lot of remodeling, some walls pushed around and so forth, and a lot of new wallpaper, things of that nature. But I think a lot of people have missed that they have taken the smaller registers and, particularly in the main part of the store, created one very large set of registers. So there was actually one line, and you are assigned to the first available register to kind of move traffic a little faster. I've actually seen this play out very nicely at Tokyo Disneyland in their main retail space. I've also seen it done at Shanghai Disneyland, where they actually have an entire section that is themed to kind of a bank vault where you step in to actually finish your purchases. At any rate, it should help to make things a lot more efficient. I am always happy to find any excuse necessary to see Disney Starlight dream the night away. I will say, though, having watched the last few parade episodes, they seem to be switching out what they want to do with the few people that are actually on the ground and not up in the float, namely the dancers. There were less dancers last time with the princess float, only about half the number. However, in this experience, they've gone back to the original number of dancers, and they've completely removed all the dancers that were part of the Frozen float, which kind of danced around with these diamonds, lit up diamonds on a staff. Those dancers were the least impressive of anything in the parade, but at the same time, the parade needs more of something, not less of something. And so it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I particularly would like to see more characters on the street between floats. I think most guests would enjoy that as well. Well, that does it here at the Magic Kingdom. Lots of construction going on. We didn't even talk about Buzz Lightyear over in Tomorrowland, which should be opening up about the same time Carousel of Progress closes for its remodel. So plenty of things up ahead for the Magic Kingdom, which is needed because it is the most attended theme park in the entire world.